My name is Megan Aldridge. I'm a full-time realtor with Cregan Property Group. Working with his capital has opened up many avenues to my business because I started as a real estate investor in real estate. I historically have a doctorate in audiology and worked full-time as an audiologist for many years. And while I was working part-time in audiology as my kids were growing up, I became a self-educated real estate investor, basically to find a solution to investing money that was more secure versus the stock market. And so I became partnered with Steve Landell and his capital group and Rick Malero through my connections with the Central Florida Christian Chamber. And as a real estate investor, I was totally unaware of the opportunity of being a passive investor, and meeting with Steve and being educated so much by him and Rick allowed me to open up an entirely new investment strategy in my portfolio that helps me prepare for my retirement as well as feel secure about where my money is going. So the greatest deals that I have done with Steve and Rick through his capital group, I can't really say because I'm a completely passive investor. I have relinquished my funds over them through a self-directed IRA and trust them completely to invest my money in projects that need funding. And I love that because I'm a very, very busy person. Not only am I a full-time realtor, I'm a full-time mother, full-time wife, and I'm also an author. I don't have time to be watching every little aspect of all of my investments. I have found a group that I can trust with those funds to put those funds where they need to be maximally effective in producing income for me and blessing others with projects that they can do. So I don't know one deal from another. I just trust them, and it's worked really well, and I've made money and seen my funds grow, and I really haven't done much at all, and I'm not really in the mix of all that's going on. Of course, if I wanted to be, I could. But at this stage of my life, I don't have time to be involved in the nitty-gritty of passive investing and being on top of where my money's going. So I am in a position with his capital group that I don't have to be hands-on. They know what they're doing. They know how to handle that money and make the most of it. It benefits them, it benefits me, it benefits the end investor, and I can sit back and relax. I check in maybe once a quarter just to see what my fund balance is at this point. And other than that, it's very hands-off, and I really like that and need that at this stage of my life. The biggest payout that I've ever had on a deal, again, I am not 100% sure what that would be. I don't have the exact figures on that because the way my money is invested, that once a deal closes, another deal opens, and it's this revolving process that, again, I'm very hands-off with this. And so Rick and his team make sure that that money isn't sitting dormant. They make sure it's reinvested. And I, being a busy woman, don't actively monitor the win on each deal. I just look at the bottom line. I know that I'm getting what we agreed to settle on in each deal, and my account keeps growing, and that's what matters to me. My best advice to someone just starting out would be to get with the team at his capital group, talk to Rick, talk to Steve, talk to their people, and find out how you can get involved. Find out how you can make your money work for you through real estate investing, and find out how you can be a passive investor or an active investor in whatever role that you are searching to accomplish. They have the answers, and they have all the information you need. So get with his capital group for sure. As my mentors for passive real estate investment, Rick Malero and Steve have really made it possible for me to come to them with any questions I have. When I was originally getting started, I was very confused about how the whole process would work and how all the numbers crunched out, and they were at my disposal to answer my questions, to meet with me, whether it be over coffee or just talk over the phone about how it was all working, how it was all growing, just being easily accessible and having the answers to all of my questions. They've served a great role as my mentors in this aspect of real estate. When I'm looking at a real estate investment, there's a lot of things I look at, whether it's an active investing situation or a passive investing situation. So when you're actively investing, meaning you're being the person doing the flip or the rehab, or you're going to be buying the property for whatever purpose, whether it's to turn around and sell it or to buy it and hold it, you have to make sure, of course, there are certain numbers you crunch that NOI, cap rate, things like that, to make sure that you are going to be cash flow positive always, and make sure that when you take into account the reserves and the vacancies and all the other things that need to be taken into consideration, that you end up with a number that you feel comfortable with. And every investor, of course, has a different number, but I look at what my numbers are and what I feel like if I could be this X amount cash flow positive, then this looks like a good investment. Of course, things like location and does the property have a view and what kind of amenities are provided on this property or in the near vicinity in the community. What is the school system like? These are all things I look at when I am selecting a particular investment site. Now, when I'm looking at people to fund an investment, like as a passive investor, when I was looking at where am I going to put my money as a passive investor? So now I'm not hands-on, I'm relinquishing those funds to have someone else have control over it. So naturally, I'm looking for people with integrity. I'm looking for people I can trust. People I can pick up the phone and talk to at a moment's notice who are going to have answers for me if I get confused or I'm concerned or, life happens and I need to have a solution for that. And when I looked at all of that as a passive investor, his capital group was that group. They are people of high integrity, people I can trust, people who are honest, people who walk the walk and talk the talk, and that was really important to me. So it just depends on what kind of investing I'm doing and what things I'm looking at, but that kind of sums it up how I try to make those choices. Someone looking to invest passively needs to find a group like his capital group that they can trust, because the whole point is to be passive, to hand over your funds, and there needs to be an element of trust. Sure, in the beginning, there's going to be questions, there's going to be clarification and a new understanding of how it all works. But the best way to passively invest is to trust the people with your money and let them do what they do best and put that into projects that are going to produce income for you. And it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to be involved, but there has to be a certain amount of passiveness to it in handing over those funds and trusting people with the skills that God has given them to do what they do best and make that money grow for you.